This story, titled Surviving Abuse, a Letter to My Younger Frightened Self, is deeply personal and heartfelt. My name is Mia, I'm 35 years old, and I've spent most of my life learning how to reclaim my voice. Growing up in a small town in Texas, my childhood looked picture perfect on the outside. But behind closed doors, there was a darkness that no one could see. A darkness I carried with me for years. This isn't just a story about survival. It's a story about resilience, healing, and the power of finding yourself again. Today, I want to share a letter I've written to my younger self, the scared little girl who felt trapped, helpless, and invisible. It's the letter I wish someone had written to me back then, when I thought I was alone. Dear Mia, I know you're scared. You're sitting in your room right now, hugging your knees to your chest, trying to muffle your sobs so no one can hear you. The air feels heavy, and your chest aches with a fear that you don't yet have words for. You wonder if it's your fault, if you did something wrong to deserve the yelling, the pain, the constant feeling of walking on eggshells. Let me tell you something you need to hear. It's not your fault. None of it is. You're just a little girl, full of curiosity and kindness, trying to make sense of a world that feels so unfair. The people who are supposed to protect you, to love you unconditionally, are the ones who make you feel the most unsafe. And I know you've started to believe their words, that you're not enough, that you'll never be enough. But those words, they're lies. They don't define you. Right now, it feels like you'll never escape this. The days blur together, each one filled with the same cycle of fear and uncertainty. But I want you to hold on to this truth. You are stronger than you think. There will come a day when you find your voice, even though it feels impossible right now. You'll grow into a woman who refuses to be silenced, who learns to love herself despite the scars that others have left behind. But before you get there, you'll have to face the hardest parts of yourself, the parts that feel broken, unworthy, and ashamed. Healing isn't a straight path, Mia. It's messy, painful, and sometimes it feels like you're moving backward. But every small step forward matters. Every tear you cry is part of the process. Every moment of doubt is part of the growth. You'll learn to ask for help, even though it terrifies you. The first time you tell someone the truth about what's happening, your voice will shake, and you'll feel like the world is crumbling around you. But it's not. Speaking up is the first step toward freedom. And though it feels like the hardest thing you'll ever do, it will also be the most liberating. You'll find people who believe you, who see the beauty in you, even when you can't see it yourself. They'll remind you that you're not alone, that what happened to you doesn't define you, and that you have the power to create a life filled with love, joy, and peace. I know you've started to build walls around your heart, convinced that letting people in will only lead to more pain. But those walls won't protect you, Mia. They'll keep you trapped. Letting people in, trusting again, that's where the real healing begins. And one day, you'll realize something incredible. The love you've been searching for all along has been within you this whole time. You'll use your experiences to help others, to remind them that they're not alone, just like you needed to hear when you were younger. Your voice, once silenced, will become a beacon for those still trapped in the darkness. You'll turn your pain into power, your story into strength. So hold on, Mia. Hold on to the little sparks of hope, the small moments of joy that remind you life can be beautiful. Hold on to the belief that you are worthy of love, of happiness, of freedom. I know it feels impossible right now, but I promise you, you'll get through this. And when you do, you'll look back at the girl you once were, not with pity, but with pride. With all the love in the world, Mia, when I wrote that letter to my younger self, it wasn't just an exercise in reflection. It was a lifeline. It allowed me to confront the pain I had buried for so long, to give that frightened little girl the comfort and reassurance she desperately needed. But writing the letter was only the beginning of my journey toward healing. In the years that followed, I worked hard to rebuild my life piece by piece. Therapy became my anchor, a place where I could unpack the layers of guilt, shame, and fear that had weighed me down for so long. My therapist, a kind and patient woman named Dr. Lopez, helped me see that the abuse I endured wasn't my fault, that I wasn't defined by what happened to me. At first, opening up felt impossible. I had spent so many years hiding the truth, even from myself, that saying the words out loud felt like ripping open a wound. But with each session, I grew stronger. Dr. Lopez taught me how to challenge the negative beliefs I had about myself, the ones planted by years of mistreatment, and replace them with truths. You are worthy of love, she'd remind me. Not because of what you do or how others treat you, but simply because you exist. Those words stayed with me, echoing in my mind whenever doubt crept in. One of the hardest parts of my healing journey was learning to forgive, not for the sake of those who hurt me, but for myself. Carrying anger and resentment felt like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere I went, and letting it go was the only way to move forward. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting or excusing what happened. It meant freeing myself from the grip it had on my life. It meant choosing peace over bitterness, love over hatred. And though it took time, I eventually found that peace. Reclaiming my life also meant rediscovering who I was outside of the pain. For so long, I had let my experiences define me, but now I wanted to define myself. I started painting again, something I loved as a child, but had abandoned during the hardest years. Each stroke of color on the canvas felt like a step toward rediscovery, a way of expressing myself when words weren't enough. I also found solace in writing. I began journaling every day, pouring my thoughts and feelings onto the page without judgment. Over time, those journals became a source of strength, a reminder of how far I had come. One day, as I was reading through my journals, an idea struck me. What if I shared my story with others? What if my journey could help someone else find their way out of the darkness? The thought terrified me, but it also felt like a calling. I started small, writing anonymous blog posts about my experiences and the lessons I had learned. To my surprise, people responded. They shared their own stories, their struggles, their triumphs. Each comment reminded me that I wasn't alone, that there were so many others who understood what I had been through. The blog grew into something bigger, a platform for healing and connection. I began speaking at events, sharing my story with groups of people who were also navigating the journey from pain to empowerment. Each time I stood in front of a crowd, I felt a mix of nerves and purpose, knowing that my words had the potential to make a difference. One of the most powerful moments came after a talk I gave at a local community center. A young woman approached me, tears in her eyes, and said, "Hearing you speak today gave me the courage to leave a toxic relationship. Thank you for showing me that it's possible to start over." Her words brought tears to my own eyes, a reminder of why I had chosen to share my story. It wasn't just about healing myself. It was about helping others find their own path to freedom and self-love. Today, I stand here as a survivor, but also as so much more. I am an artist, a writer, an advocate, and a woman who has learned to love herself fully. The scars I carry are a part of me, but they no longer define me. They are a testament to my strength, a reminder of what I've overcome. If you're watching this and you've experienced abuse, I want you to know that you're not alone. Your pain is valid. Your story matters, and you have the strength to heal. It won't be easy, and there will be days when it feels impossible, but I promise you, it's worth it. Please share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Let's create a space where we can support one another, lift each other up, and remind each other that healing is possible. If this story resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell for more stories of resilience, empowerment, and hope. Together, we can break the silence and build a community of healing and love. Thank you for listening. And remember, no matter how dark your past may seem, your future is filled with light and possibility. You are stronger than you know, and you deserve every bit of happiness this life has to offer.